Hello, I'm Anthony, back on track with Undertow. This is one of the songs that's going to be on the album that I'm putting together at the moment. There's an album called The River, for which I'm doing a separate series. If I'm specifically talking about sticking songs together, or in the context of the album, I'm doing stuff over there. But this is really about Undertow. I've gone back into the song, lifted the hood, done a bit of repair work on it. There were a couple of things that were just fundamentally wrong. The most serious of them was a very bad lyric, or a lyric at the end of the song that I really didn't like. This is the line that I'm talking about.
There was the meaning standing there beside me all this time.
The fact that I'd used the word there twice just ended up really, really irritating me. So at the weekend we did a brand new take of the entire song. Pauline's resung it. Now I've recently significantly improved my recording process in terms of getting as strong a signal as possible from the vocals, which reduces background hum. As it happens, Pauline was just absolutely on fire at the weekend. We did 4 or 5 takes, and the composite that I've put together is just completely wonderful. It was just such an absolute joy. Probably only spent about half an hour doing this session, but pretty much everything that went down was great. Anyway, this is the new lyric at the end of the song.
Dancing and dreaming, you were there beside me all this time.
The other significant change that's happened to this song since my last Back on Track episode was that I've added a bass line. So we'll get a chance to hear that as well. Anyway, let's hear the entire song and then we'll come back and talk about those things.
Down at the Undertow, borne along on the ebb and flow, lost in the moment, spellbound in wonder, out of the moonlight's gentle refrain, softly the footfalls fade beneath the paling light, and in the evening those that remain linger with longing, singing songs of rolling tides. After all is said and done, we slip and slide on lullabies, blazing in the afterglow of time. On the wings of idle dreams, I hear the sound of falling water, dancing with the echoes of my mind. All at once I'm the Undertow, more delight than I've ever known. Slow for a moment, hazy in slumber, onward to morning, misty and raining. Are we still sailing on towards forbidden skies? Then the concealing fog starts to rise, dancing and dreaming, you were there beside me all this time.
This bass note tails off basically as long as the guitar can sustain that note, because this is going to be a transition into another song that's also in C major. So that's basically just a little bit of a kind of hook for me to be able to merge those two songs together. So I left that hanging at the end. I've also got this muted part of the bass that when I recorded, I was really happy with it and I thought, yep, that's absolutely fine. But I think I'm pretty much decided I don't want it to be there.
Slow for a moment, hazy in slumber,
Just
onward
mirrors the vocal line actually. The reason I don't want it there is because when the next part starts, I just really like this bass line. So I want to emphasize it. I want it to be a little bit, there to be silence before it, so that when it comes in, we've got a bit of a contrast. Now there's a kind of step down process here. I might go in and lock those absolutely to the acoustic guitar. So every chord change that the acoustic guitar makes, they're absolutely spot on. At the moment, they're slightly lax.
On towards forbidden skies, then
it's not bad. It's not bad. I might leave it. There's a little bit of organic kind of pull there between the two instruments. Just deciding whether or not I want to lock them in. I think it's probably worth trying, and then I can always undo it if I don't like it. Generally speaking, though, it's a less is more approach with the bass. It's kind of a little bit, there's a little bit of motion there, but it's really quite gentle and very subdued in the mix. I deliberately have it quite low in the mix. Once again, over the next week or so, as this thing kind of beds into my brain, I'll try to decide whether or not I want to push the bass a little bit more. But I just don't want it to get in the way of the acoustic guitar and the vocals together, which were a perfectly happy match. They didn't need a bass line for this song, so it has to enhance it if it's going to be there. I'm pretty sure it does, particularly that section at the end starting at bar 65. I really, really like that. The other stuff isn't quite as good as that, but it's the best I've been able to do, and I do still think it's better than not having anything there. But those are still decisions that I haven't yet finalised. I could very well end up taking all of that out. I don't know. Unlikely, but it could happen. As far as the vocal performance itself is concerned, not much to say really. Like I said, it was just one of those really joyous sessions where everything just went well. Pauline really likes this song, is tailored perfectly for her voice. The notes in it sit smack in the middle of a range, and everything is nice and strong.
Down at the Undertow.
Let's just compare that in terms of the overall ambience of the sound.
Down at the Undertow.
Can you hear all of that background hiss? It's a little bit difficult to capture. What I can do, I'll just save this project in case I make a total mess of this, but I'll stretch this out so that we've got a bit of silence to play with. And this section here is complete silence. Now, forget the cycle marker. But you can hear there's just a quite significant extra level of background hum. As it happens, the headphones are always present in all of these songs because these Sennheisers are open-backed, which means a little bit of the acoustic guitar is going to bleed into the microphone. I don't have any problem with that at all. If I really stretch this out, you'll be able to hear that more clearly. So this is the latest performance. You just heard a little ting there of the guitar sound. So it is always there. Don't worry, I'm not concerned about that in the slightest. But generally speaking, noise floors come down. Performance is about as good as the last one. This was always one of Pauline's better sung songs, and I was reluctant and really didn't want to have to go back in and fix it again because I was so happy with the performance. But fortunately, we got just as good a one this time, and I've managed to fix the lyrics. So that's a win. Guitar line's been completely left alone. As recorded, it was very good. There were issues that I had with the performance, with the technical process of recording the guitar. But when I went back in and listened to it under a bit of a forensic kind of examination, there's all sorts of presets on this thing. But if I turn them all off, just the guitar on its own absolutely fine. You know, it was quite a good performance. I did quite well. And then when you stick the processing stuff on the top of it, then we get... Yep, no problem with that at all. So I did not expect this to go so well. I thought I was going to really struggle to come up with a bass line, but over the weekend came up with something that I was really happy with. That vocal performance, like I say, half an hour of recording and that's that done. I pressed record and I think I just basically let it loop 6 times round, and large swathes of it were taken from the same take. I wanted the breaths in between to be as natural as possible. So you'll see lots of take 3, take 3, take 3, take 3. All of the transitions between all of those notes are going to be natural because it was just a completely organic performance.
Gentle refrain, softly.
And I've left all of the breaths in there. There was one that I had to truncate because it was a little bit too loud. Other than that, you know, everything is just completely natural, a totally natural performance. So just a little bit of mastering to do on this one, get it polished up, and then that's track 4 into the album. And as I say, we've got this transition hanging off the end by which I can tag on to Springtime. That's another story for another time. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please hit like if you did. I'll see you again. Thanks a lot.